Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Sorry I was a little quick on the other game from round 7, but here's another from the Qatar Masters Open 2015 round 7 between Mamedyarov, Azerbaijan top world-class player, and Ganguly as black from India, an up-and-coming player, rated over 2640. Shak is 2748. Let's get to it. Mamedyarov is white. Ganguly is black. It's going to be in English, but it starts getting real weird real quick. Now, this game is fairly long, so I'm going to go a little bit quicker, but it's really a wild one. Knight f6, g3. All seems pretty tame so far. Knight takes. Bishop g2. Knight b6. Now, according to this is the last book move. We're only on move 5, so this is very unusual for this level. Usually you're in the book a lot more, or a lot farther into the game than this. e3. Knight c6. Brings the other knight out. Doesn't want to put him here, of course, because it'll block the light square bishop's power. And this is a really interesting move. Now, I know some of these players that don't get to play in these big tournaments much. It's because it's an open tournament. So he's going for it, but bishop f5 I think is okay. Bishop d6. Bishop g4. Get the light squared bishop out. He goes queen to d3. And already it's weird. What to do? So Shak took some time, Mamedyarov, and he went the computer move, which was f4. And f6. Now this is already off the hook already. Bishop e4, hitting the queen, forcing the queen to a6. Now, be honest with you, I probably left him on the d file, maybe d6. Blocks in the bishop, but hey, he's there in a crappy place anyway. Now pawn takes, not as good as knight takes, because after d4, f5, bishop c2, white's sitting okay. He really is. He's in good shape here. The knight's going to get out to f4 someday. The dark squared bishop needs some work, but I like white there. Took with the f pawn. Really unusual move here. I thought d4 is probably good. Knight g1. He wants to reroute the knight. Now, granted, not the greatest move in the world, but this is Shak Mamedyarov. He takes a lot of chances. He's an exciting player. Knight d7. Knight d5. Gets the knight right up there in a really good spot. Bishop d6. Queen checks. Do you go g6? Then bishop takes check. And you're screwed. So the king has to move. Knight f3. Now here comes the knight. Knight c5, hitting the bishop. Queen checks. Right now, believe it or not, according to the computer, it's pretty much dead even. I'm not so sure I wouldn't want to be black. Knight d7, the block, the check. Knight takes. Bishop takes. Now, what do you do here? Do you take e5? Do you take g7? I think all of us would take g7. But this is what happens. If queen takes g7, oh, take that back. Let me back it up a little bit here. Sorry, bishop takes. If you take g7 with a queen, bishop f6, the queen has to move, and knight takes e4, and black is doomed. Or excuse me, white is doomed. Boy, I'm misspeaking a lot today. Queen takes e5. Sorry about the miscues there. Here it is here. Queen, knight takes, queen checks, knight d6, and here we go. And this is the scenario if you took the g-pawn instead. Check, king d7. You're down a piece for 2 pawns, and white is doomed. Just want to explain to some of my newer viewers a couple of miscues earlier. I don't edit my mistakes, just to show that we're all human and we make mistakes just like chess. Rook to f8. Rook to f1. Now here's what I think Ganguly is black goes off the rails here. And I think it's a fairly natural move, at least it looks okay. But unfortunately, doesn't really do the job. Queen to c4. Bishop d7 is probably better. Then after b4, knight takes, queen takes, bishop c6. Black's okay, but after queen to c4, bishop takes, bishop h3, rook f2. Now this looks a little scary for white, but he's really okay. Bishop f6. Looks like everybody's ganging up on the white pieces, but not really. Queen f4 pretty much solves a lot of his problems. Knight d3. There we got a family fork, as they say. 1, 2, 3. But the bishop can take. Queen takes. And that queen's right in the thick of the action, but that white king is very safe right there. g4, trapping in the bishop. Queen to d7, allowing bishop takes g4 to get out. But he goes knight. Can't take with the bishop, of course. So that's check with devastating consequences. Queen to d5, knight g6. And slowly but surely, black's digging himself into a hole here. He goes queen to h1 check. I think a lot of us would. But rook e8, I think, was a proper move. And after queen takes, queen takes. Black still has a lot of trouble, but not nearly as much. But after queen to h1, king e2, queen comes over. Now how's its queen going to get out now? Of course, it's something to be said for the fact that it's going to take a long time to get this move, but you really can't because this bishop is right on. So you can't push pawn here and get the bishop out because this rook is in pre. So you've got some problems too. Knight takes, bishop takes check, king d3. Now the king's out in the open. But look at white's pieces though. Everything's guarded. Queen guards the h-pawn, rook's guarded by the queen, bishop's guarded by the rook. What can black really do to go after white's king? King e8. Doesn't even bother saving. Goes after the queen. Checks. King c2. Now the queen can get out the way he came in. Knight gets out. Bishop e2. Knight takes check first, then pawn takes. And Schach decides, I'm just going to go b3. Now should he take the rook? No. Bishop checks. King to b2, and then he takes the rook. But that was the mistake. Let's go back here. The king's out in the open right now. Right now. But now, he's tucked away a little bit. If queen had taken instead, after queen takes, bishop takes, I think black can survive this. But after bishop takes, queen takes c7, I think Mamedyarov gave some of this back. White is up 2 pawns. Bishop d3. King hides on a3. Bishop f5, bishop f2, excuse me, b2. Now finally the rook can move. He gives up a pawn for that though. Bishop takes. threatening mate. Queen checks. He's got a trade. Bishop d4. Now, I'm going to go a little quickly through the next part of this game. What happens is black decides he wants to really play him hard. He's probably figuring, I'm down 2 pawns, but it's opposite color bishops. My rook's really active. My bishop's in a good spot. Let's go for it. And they continue down this road for a while. I'll go a little quick here, because there's really no point. He's just trying to maneuver around. It's very instructive if you want to stop the video or take a look at it. He's 2 pawns up, but it's not that easy. He decides to bring the king back to the other side. Rook. Slowly but surely, he's working his way up. King e6. Rook over. He's going to try to open it up that way, but how's he going to save the h-pawn? He's not. But what he does, what he's trying to do, he's trying to get the bishop here so he can come back with it. But that rook's stopping him. Now he can't come here to go this way. King c3, rook, bishop d8, rook checks, king over, rook c8, still fooling around, king over. Now we got the king in the middle of the board. Bishop checks, king over, rook checks, king back. I think they're just finding their way here. Finally the bishop gets to f4, and that's where the bishop wants to be. Pretty close right now in score, believe it or not. Less than a pawn advantage. Now Mamedyarov has to win this if he's going to stay in the hunt for any kind of prize, top prize. Rook to g1. Finally gets to open things up. And this is where I think black miscues. Now we're on move 62. If I remember right, after move 60, I believe you get a 30-second increment. I'm not sure. Rook to d1. That was the mistake. King to f5 was a good choice, I think. Get the king right in there. But he decided to go rook to d1, and after the white king moves, rook goes back. Rook b4. It looks like white is slowly going to take this. But black is making it incredibly hard for him. This opposite color bishops makes it tough. Rook. There comes the king. Rook's kind of in a weird spot for black there. It's kind of in a little box that he can't get out of. At least temporarily. Check. King comes over. King d4. Here comes the king. Bishop has to move. Should you take the pawn? Well, no, you can't. The bishop's guarding it. Rook b2. Just put the rook somewhere. Rook checks. e4. Finally gets to move the pawn. Rook checks. King e3. Tucks it away. Chases off the bishop. Rook b6. Slowly but surely, white is just creeping along. It's out of reach for black now. He's just hanging on, hoping for a prayer here. Rook. Bishop comes over. Got to have patience, folks. h5. Here come the pawns. They're coming down. Rook e8. h6. Now that bishop's in a great spot. The rook can't get it, and the bishop's guarding both of those pawns. Rook a8. Finally goes rook h2. He has to go king g6. h7. Forces him in the corner. Rook checks. King g7. a6. He can't take, because he'll lose the bishop. Bishop g2, a7, and he continues playing e6. Now the other pawn is coming, and that's where finally Ganguly from India resigns. I think Mamedyarov made it much harder for himself than he should have, but he finally got it together. Interesting game. Weird opening. That queen at d3 in the English on move 6 was kind of interesting. Anyway, folks, that's one of the games from round 7. Not much going on in the other games. There were some lower games that were pretty interesting, but of the top boards, of the higher boards, this is pretty much the only two decent games that there were to watch. Anyway, folks, look for more action from the Qatar Masters Open 2015 coming up. And as I always say, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.